Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Laurent Boukobza, and today we're going to talk about how teachers can actually adapt to that new situation created by the pandemic and the coronavirus. Indeed, we are in an unprecedented time where the world is in isolation pretty much. We all communicate, but no one can do anything. So we can go outside, we're in confinement. So music teachers, how can they do with this? How can they deal with that situation? Of course, we can teach on Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp, messengers, and so on and so on. That's, of course, the easy way to go with the students, but we have then bigger problems to talk about. The things we need to make sure we address is how can we make sure that the students understand very, very well what we're talking about? Also, how can we make sure that the students achieve what we want them to achieve? How can we make sure that students understand through our demonstration what we're talking about? The biggest factor in music is sound. And with all these Skype messengers and all of this, the biggest distortion we have is sound. So we are actually having a really big problem right now. How can we teach the students? So the first thing I say to my students is, you're gonna have to take responsibility. You're gonna have to be very proactive in everything I'm gonna teach you. The first thing I do also is to be very specific. Usually when you teach a student, you show them. So you say like here, here, and here. Well, here and here doesn't make any sense through a video. So I ask my students, number one, to number and to measure every single of their pieces. Like that when I say measure 5 or measure 3, third line, page 6, well, then they know exactly what I'm talking about. I need to teach them, make sure that they understand all the beats, how to play right hand and left hand separately. So there's a lot of small details that we're going to go through to make sure that they know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's take an example. Here's the measure 10. Okay, so measure 10 is on top of the page, left page, and then we have measure 11. And if you look at measure 11, the chord on the left hand is actually short, then it's long, and then short. Then it's okay. So measure 15, the right hand does a two-note third. And 17. So I'm going to play for you 48, and I want you to listen carefully of how it should sound compared to how you sound. Okay, it should sound like this. One of the things too is the setting of the camera. Yeah, that sounds very basic, but the truth is sometimes the camera is not set the right way. So I ask always the camera to be at level of the keyboard and seeing the hands of the pianist and the wrist. It's very important that the wrist shows up this way, because if you're looking from the top, then you don't really know if the wrist is up or down. Second, when you're going to teach them scales, you need to see if the wrist is going to do this funky business or the turn, twist and turn, which is of course not right. So let's look some examples of that. Scales. That's right. So we're going to take the metronome and we're going to work with the scales all the way up. Very nice. Your left hand start moving a lot, starting to have some wrist motion. We don't want that. What makes your wrist going down or up? Is there a special finger that does that?
The thumb?
Yes, the thumb, exactly.
Yeah.
So when I play with my thumb, I'm going to show you like this. My thumb moves up and down like that. It doesn't move up and down doing this, okay? So what I have to learn to do is to move my thumb up and down, not moving. This is my key. So when I move my thumb, you see my wrist does not move.
Yeah.
When you so every time you play on your thumb, you tend to collapse your wrist, which is obviously wrong. Okay? So make sure when we play slow that the wrist does not collapse. One last thing is the homework. Usually I have the notebook, and on that notebook I'm writing the instructions. Well, make sure that they have their notebook with them, and make sure they take the notes well, as then eventually to reread the notes, because that's very important. And make sure that for the next lesson they have a clear assignment of what needs to be done, because sometimes we talk to them, they get it, but it needs to be in writing this time, because next lesson will be probably within the next week. It needs just to be in writing. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I like the other ones. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and of course to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course to go on my website that you have right here, laurentboukobza.net. Leave a comment on the bottom or contact me through my email that you can find on my website, and I will be happy to return and respond to all the comments and return all the emails. So looking forward to hear from you guys, and bye now.